You've been served, everyone. It's Deep Dive Zone, the Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. I'm your host, Devin, joined as always by my co-hosts Lauren and Bruce. And today, we are doing another episode of Sonic Comics. And judging by my intro and Bruce laughing at it, you might know what comic we're doing, and this is a slightly infamous one. We're starting off here with Sonic Super Special number 14, one of the last ones. This is called Sonic Stew a lot of the time. I don't actually know if that appears anywhere in the issue, but that's what I've heard it called.
I saw that.
I don't know
That's
where
a
that comes from.
that's a really weird title.
Well, this is a really weird issue. Look at this cover. Can you even tell what the hell is going on?
Julie, actually, everyone's faces look like they're melting.
I love this cover. This is fantastic. Like, what more could you want? All the main cast looks bizarre,
something comprehensible.
That background is so busy, and
you can barely see the background.
It's Penders' coloring is what it is that he does the same highlight and burn shading on everything that makes none of it stand out.
Yeah, it all just ends up looking really flat.
Which is weird, because he clearly wanted it to look 3D.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, whenever he does this coloring, it's always strange. But this has definitely got to be one of my favorite Snivelies ever. Like, this is...
That Snively is beautiful.
Right next to one of the most, skungliest Robotniks.
I have no idea what's going on there.
he looks like drawings that I would do as a shitpost.
It really does.
You know, and that fits, because the first story of this issue also feels like a shitpost, because this is Law of the Land, written by Evan Skolnick and Jim Spivey, and drawn by Suzanne Paddock, a bunch of people we've never heard of before, or at least I haven't, but who's never been on the comics before, certainly.
Right.
And in this story, Sonic is arrested and taken to an alternate Mobius obsessed with litigation and legality. There, he is charged with crimes he didn't commit and faces down the Judge, a Robotnik-esque computer made to pass judgment on criminals.
That's right, folks. We're in for another super special that just sends you off to random parallel dimensions that have no bearing on anything, really.
God, I hate it when the super specials do that. Like, these should be...
dumb.
Well, because these should be, the big pivotal moments in the plots.
On the one hand, we've complained in the past about restricting important story beats to a second book.
Well, I mean, I agree with that.
Making it this much of a nonsensical, skippable thing is why even bother making a special at that point?
Well, yeah, it's like...
They should be ultimately skippable, but still feel like big event stories. And this doesn't feel like a big event story. This feels like a bank story they had years to wait before publishing.
Ooh, yeah.
For real.
Case in point, it's fucking hideous.
It is absolutely hideous.
Yeah, after that cover, I was like, okay, it's gonna get more normal. No, it still looks quite strange. Not in the same way.
It's just gross. Everybody looks really spindly, and even more than Sonic normally did at this point. The faces are off. It has that wrinkly quality we've talked about.
Oh my god, it is wrinkly.
I don't remember what the name for those circle sparkles that anime draws in people's eyes are, but every time they draw them, it looks like they've got, floater bubbles in their eyes. They look gross. And, well, the story's not much better. It's just Sonic and Sally chilling, I guess we're starting with.
Pretty much.
Not committing to any sort of placement anywhere, meaning that they really just don't care at all about how this fits in anywhere. Yeah.
As usual, exactly.
It's okay. We've got the Echidna cops. I don't know if these guys are Echidnopolis or Dark Legion in their universe.
What I kind of got was this Mobius is just a monoculture.
Maybe
we don't have separate Echidna societies.
I'm pretty sure that's true, although you are reading too deep into it.
I know, but we have a habit of doing that.
No, I do appreciate it.
What is this? That's the deepness of it.
True.
You need to be more shallow as possible. But yes, we arrive in the universe themed around legal proceedings.
Odd thing to theme a universe around.
Somebody thought it would be funny.
It's if Better Call Saul was an entire universe.
Well, you say that. But well, okay. Obviously, Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad didn't exist at this point in history. But
No,
the
I didn't.
entire the
Go ahead.
entire theme here is making Sally an Ally McBeal parody, which I don't fucking know shit about that. And somebody must have said Sally McBeal in the writing room, and things got mixed because she doesn't call herself that. She calls herself Sally McAcorn, which is not fucking funny. That's nothing.
I will say, despite the fact that they're just being ridiculous and not really thinking too hard about anything, I don't find this universe entirely implausible. You say, oh, it's all themed around legal proceedings.
I
Yes,
mean, I guess
but
it's not impossible.
it is Robotnik's doing, similar
It's
to how
true.
he in the main universe, everything, you see robots everywhere, right? So Robotnik has just made everything about law. He's used that instead
Right.
of just turning everyone into slaves. He enslaves them with the law. I kind of like
Right.
the idea,
I
actually.
mean, that makes more sense for a dictator, let's be honest.
I mean, in the real world, certainly, it's
Well,
just
yeah,
strange as all.
it is strange, but like, it's more believable.
Believable in massive air quotes, but sure,
Well,
yeah. No,
sure, yeah.
I don't. It's not that on concept I want everything about this to die. It's just that in practice I hate reading it.
Well, I
Um,
hate reading it too, because various reasons.
It's not really that great. There isn't a whole lot going on. It's just, oh wow, look, isn't this a weird universe? Oh
yeah.
wow, Sonic, you're under arrest. I am Snively and I have a mustache. Uh,
Yes.
oh wow, no,
God, I
I'm
love that
Sally, but now I'm a
mustache.
lawyer. I must save you now. And they just go from point to point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Snively does look just beautiful, though.
Oh
The
yeah, I do love
pinstripe
this
suit
Snively.
look is a good one
The
for it.
pinstripe suit, the like pencil thin mustache, and I can't tell if that's the same amount of hair he normally has.
I think it is, but he slicked it back, so
Okay,
Yeah.
they're also drawing it a lot thicker than it normally is.
he is like linguini core here. You know, he's very like skeevy Italian looking.
Jesus Christ.
Um,
That was a great sentence, Devin. I just want you to know that.
okay. Anyway, so Sonic, of course, doesn't care about any of this. He basically just wants to leave. Um,
I mean, yeah.
and what was it? With all the crimes he's been accused of, they were committed by evil Sonic, right?
Yeah, they were all committed by Evil Sonic because, of course, they were.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do like the idea. On one hand, you could say, okay, Evil Sonic tried to frame Sonic on purpose. No, I don't believe that. I think Evil Sonic just goes between universes and commits petty crime.
Yeah, no, the Evil Sonic would totally just go around being a dick, and then Sonic would get blamed for it. Like, that's not part of Evil Sonic's plan, because Evil Sonic's not that smart.
It
True,
doesn't. Yeah,
true.
it doesn't feel like he has like he's not a mastermind of
No,
evil.
Evil Sonic's an idiot.
He's just kind of
We've
a
seen that.
jerk.
Yeah, he's just kind of a dick.
Anyway, so the funny thing about all this is that they never really have an actual trial in this courtroom universe.
No, because Sonic just runs off, basically.
Yeah, it's really funny because Sally over here is like, oh, Sonic, the dark backstory of how King Acorn tried to stop crime, and then Robotnik came in and used that for evil to enslave the populace. And Sonic is like, yeah, okay, whatever, man. I'm gonna go commit more crimes and blow up the judge by committing too many crimes, and that's how everything is solved.
Yeah, Sonic intentionally commits so many crimes that Robotnik Judge just explodes.
You know what? That's a very Sonic level of dealing with an evil robot.
No, I mean, if I have to choose, something for Sonic, I'd rather him be a criminal, but
Well, I do think it would have been funny to see him go through like an actual trial, but that also probably would have ended up being really boring.
courtroom dramas are hard to do right on the best of days, and I
I mean,
certainly don't
yeah.
trust these writers to.
Oh God, no, no. They'd need better writers to make an actual like good courtroom drama.
Also, he hits Cop Knuckles with a 2x4, which is nice.
That's fair.
And we end off with just Sonic showing up and being like, oh, this is wrong. Anyway, let me fix this.
I feel like it's certainly intentional that Sonic didn't save Sonic until like they blew up the judge. Because Sonic historically has been like, no, only you have to do the thing first
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no,
before you
that's
go home. However, I
yeah.
think that furthermore, Sonic set this up somehow because it was said that evil Sonic graffitied the wall and then went through a portal, and then they chased him through the portal, and then somehow got to Sonic's universe, which doesn't make
Yeah,
any sense.
they
So
somehow ended up in Mobius Prime.
I'm thinking Sonic like redirected the portal again, just messing with normal Sonic because Sonic just is lazy or something. I don't know. He's too hooked up on Destiny is the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe maybe he wanted Prime Sonic to liberate this dimension, but it's like you're a interdimensional time cop. That's your job, asshole.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Uh, so yeah, boring, ugly story. I don't think I have much to say about it. It doesn't have a point, you know. It doesn't have
This
a
is
big
very
hook.
much, yeah, this is very much, the idea of the bank stories that we've been using.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to a story that actually indeed is building something. Not
Yes.
necessarily something good,
Mm.
but something. This is the best of times, the worst of times. You have no idea how much I wanted to say the blurst of times, but I'm not saying it. Penders and Butler. Knuckles and his friends attend Lara Lay and Windmaker's wedding, but the reception is cut short by rumblings of an incoming attack from the Dark Legion. Which is funny, because the first pages spoil that for us.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't specify exactly what caused it. It's just kind of, oh, look,
Right.
explosion. This is bad.
Yeah, I guess it's
Anyway,
been a while since we've seen the Dark Legion, so you might not necessarily know it's them.
Yeah,
Whatever Knuckles is running
The
from.
Legion's kind of fallen off in importance.
just a bit.
Yeah,
But I
but
must say, I was actually kind of surprised to see Knuckles' mom getting remarried. I didn't expect that.
I am a little surprised to see that they actually did that.
certainly
I
Windmaker
mean,
is better for her than Locke was.
It
yeah.
makes me somewhat hopeful that the plot isn't going to ruin this. But on the other hand, the fact they did this might mean the plot is committing to ruin it even harder.
Ruin it how exactly?
Make Locke screw everything up somehow.
Oh, I see. Well then I will not spoil anything regarding that for you.
I am nervous every time Locke shows up and talks to Lorelei.
I mean, yeah.
Well, here's something
Kind of hard
that's
not to be.
not necessarily ruining the scene, but I've seen pointed out and now I can't unsee, is that Lara Lay is the only one who dressed up for her own goddamn wedding.
That is
Everyone
true.
else is just in their normal outfits, including the groom.
Yeah, the groom's still dressed like Darth Vader.
Well, and it's funny because you know why. It's because if they had him in a different outfit, you wouldn't be able to tell it was Windmaker.
That's true.
Oh no.
That is true.
Uh, but yeah, everybody's at the wedding. Everybody's happy for them. Celebration, of course, is going on, but it's cut short by Remington, also with his like 2-panel girlfriend who appears like once.
I was wondering if she was going to ever show up again.
I
Yeah, that
don't
was
think she
kind of
does.
random.
Yeah.
She has a slightly more unique design. That's the thing that's notable about her. But what's important is that he gets a phone call about some danger.
Yep.
Yep.
The Brotherhood also get a call, except they get it from yet another aged grandpa we haven't met yet.
I love this guy because he could have just shown up and been like, I sensed in the great beyond that there was trouble and so I came. But instead, he has to say, oh, after giving up my physical form for a while, I saw there was trouble and then decided to like reform or something
Decided to just
and
come
come here.
back.
Yeah, it's like so they've talked about characters, the Brotherhood specifically, giving up their physical forms before, but I assumed that was like dying, becoming a ghost.
That's what I
Well,
thought too.
I figured it was like some level of ascension.
Yeah, but Matthias here is clearly not so dead
No,
that he can't physically exist.
he ascended and then descended, which
Yeah.
is it's
What's the difference between life and death at that point?
It's just adding another dimension of madness into like the capabilities of these characters. Like there's nothing they can't do, it seems.
Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of which, apparently Knuckles and all his friends are accomplished horse riders. Or, these are the weird horse things that were stolen from
Well, okay.
Thundar the Barbarian. We talked
Yeah,
about
to be
that,
fair,
but-
we've seen Julie Sue ride one.
Yeah,
Wasn't
but all the
SBO there
chaotics?
also?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that was just Julie Sue. The rest of the Chaotix, I don't know why they can ride horses.
To be fair, Vector is shown to be having a bad time.
That is true. He is.
But Knuckles has clearly got ulterior motives. He's not just like having fun. He's like, actually, let's just get closer to this former Dark Legion base. Let's just happen to do that.
Oops, we just happened to come to this abandoned military base, guys. Let's go check it out.
Hey, at least we get a token appearance from Harry the cab driver.
Yay!
Why can't
Harry.
we just let Harry live a normal life at this point?
He definitely deserves it.
He's the only cab driver in Echidnopolis.
Apparently.
Have you seen another? I haven't.
No, we haven't. So we can only assume he's the only one.
I will say, Julie Sue does mention that previous super special where she encountered her stepfather Simon, and it's very funny because we at the time were like, "What happened to these guys? Did they ever come back?" And I was wrong. They do, but it's funny that she says he disappeared soon afterward. So they just have to retcon that nothing there was actually like the pivotal plot. He just disappeared. He just went away.
Yeah.
It's like, can you just write consistently? But no.
Yeah, that's funny. To be
That is
fair, they
interesting.
kind of half explain that later.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's funny because the heroes arrive at the Dark Legion temple place, and the Brotherhood arrive at the Grand Conservatory, but they look almost identical. Like, one is just like some bricks and a lower ground area, and the other is just a temple in some mountains, but they look like they're in the exact same place, but they're not.
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna be
thought-
honest. I thought they were in the same place.
Yeah,
at least at
same.
first.
I can't believe they're still drawing the Dark Legion completely like aliens.
Yeah, there's
They're
still
never gonna
dudes
fix
in
that,
hoods
are they?
with red faces.
Yeah, at that point, okay, those should just be masks. Like that would be so much simpler.
They're not, though.
I know.
They have tanks, but they're effortlessly blown up by psychic powers.
Yeah, as before.
But you know what? I almost appreciate this because this is the first time that we've had the Brotherhood actually out and about as a unit doing stuff.
Shit, really?
I think so.
I can't think of another time, but I have a shit memory, so
Really
This-
funny too, because seemingly the only reason that they do this is they show up just to like look around basically, and then somebody like offends Spectre, and then they get mad because Spectre is probably one of the most irritable, I guess. And then the
I
rest
would
are like,
assume so.
"Oh, okay, we have to follow their lead because we act together."
Yeah. It's like, if he's attacking one guy, we need to all attack them.
That's what it takes to get the Brotherhood to act. Pro tip: you just get one of them to act, and the rest of them will follow.
It's like
Yeah.
when you're playing a multiplayer game and somebody aggroes the enemies. It's like, well, I guess we're in the fight now. No more stealthing.
Yep.
So Lorelei and Windmacher are taking their honeymoon in Albion, which is funny because we've not really seen any of Albion, and we don't see it here either. We just see some mountains.
Actually, are they? Yeah, they are there. Okay.
This
Yeah,
doesn't even
we just
look
see
like
them
Albion.
land. It doesn't.
I mean, the building kind of looks like the one distant shot we saw of the city, but like,
I
yeah,
guess.
mountains. Where is Albion on an island? Is it just the city on an island, or is there more?
Yeah, like this doesn't make any sense.
That's a good question.
Are they looking across the ocean at Mercia there? I don't know. So, Harry mentioned earlier that the dingoes were planning a protest over Echidnopolis' unwillingness to provide for them, which, yeah. But it turns out that protest here means firing guns into the sky.
Yeah, protest here means terrorist attack, I think.
Yeah,
don't
so
think
on
they're-
on the one hand,
I don't think they're shooting anybody, but...
no, they're not. To be
No,
fair,
I don't think they are.
I am impressed that this plot line hasn't been forgotten, but yeah, it also
Yeah.
hasn't really changed course either.
Well, yeah, at this point, I don't really know what the purpose of having the dingoes in any of these stories is.
Yeah, I mean,
oh,
what they
they're
like
yeah.
steal a garbage truck or something like that?
Yeah, and they act like it's a good find. Like, I,
We'll dump the echidna cops in there. Well, and it doesn't. I don't think it really amounts to anything because they don't really show up much after this in the story because the big plot thing happens.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't gonna talk about
right.
it, but if we'll just skip there, like they start protesting, like, oh, maybe something will happen. But then yeah, the big plot thing happens and completely interrupts that. So I don't even know why they bothered.
Yeah.
Having read most of this era already, I'm pretty sure the next stuff that happens in Echidnapolis after this doesn't follow up on any of this. So whatever they were trying to do
Yeah, I'm
here
not
doesn't matter.
surprised.
So Knuckles and the others, they do find more Legion boys in the basement of the temple, and Julie Sue is instantly kidnapped during this. But it's like it's like we're down here investigating one moment, Julie Sue kidnapped the next, and then we're instantly just like, all right, we have to get her, we have to get her back, we have to do that right now. It's like no more investigation, no splitting up, just instant Julie Sue only mode.
Well, I mean, when she disappears, kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, hey, you guys remember Hawking, the racist one?
I
Yeah.
definitely remember him and
Yeah.
his
I guess
inability to die because no one
Yeah.
would let him. I'm
He's
so
finally
happy that
dying, it looks
finally, I
like.
know,
he
because
finally
everyone
gained the
left
strength.
and they could now he can finally die in peace.
Yeah,
Holy shit. It's
and
about fucking time.
it's amazing because we've been seeing him on life support for so long now, and now it just happens. There's nothing significant about this. He's just like, oh well, guess I'm
Yeah.
not. Which is more realistic, but like, why? Why did you drag this out so long? What difference does it make?
Because
Like,
he's a
is
racist
there
and he
any
has to
meaning to this?
suffer. I don't
Because
know.
they're like, oh, it's time to go. What? Who cares?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like, I'm not trying to be callous. It's just you could have done this whenever.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
If you really do make it sound like the Brotherhood are like, no, we can't let him die, and he's trying to die, and here he just finally succeeds. That
Because they're
almost
not
makes it
fucking
more
there.
significant. Yeah, it's the end
I
of
mean,
his
I'm pretty
character
sure
arc.
that's what it is.
He was going through his Rocky training montage, figuring out how to not be alive anymore,
Jesus Christ.
and he finally beat
The
the fight.
revelation here, actually, this is the important moment, is that there is some extremely small limit to the Guardians. After showing that they're ridiculous and can do anything, no, they actually can die eventually, normally,
Yeah,
without like ascending or whatever. That's the important
Right.
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
So Julie Sue is taken up to a Dark Legion ship on a flying saucer, and that
That's a
ship looks.
Klingon ship.
I was about to say, haven't I heard that this thing is a Star Trek ship?
Yes, that's a Klingon bird of prey. Or of some kind.
Okay,
There's too many classes of them, but that's
that's
some kind of bird of prey.
this story is drawn by Butler, so it's not technically Pender's doing that unless he specifically told him to draw this ship.
I mean, I wouldn't be
He
surprised.
might have. He loves Star Trek. We know that, but
Yeah.
Julie meets here her half sister, who we've seen before but has not been formally introduced. This is Lian Da, the rude jerk girl. I don't know.
Yep.
Is her name even mentioned here? I don't see it.
She has been named before.
You are
Has
right, though.
she?
It doesn't call her that.
Wait, has her name? I think the only reason I know her
mentioned
name.
but I
Yeah,
don't know if the
Devin's
comics
mentioned her
have.
name. I don't think the comics have mentioned her name still.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought for sure during the whole bit where Julie Sue found Simon that they named her. Maybe not though.
I don't
Maybe
think
that's a good.
they might
question.
have.
Because it does mention that story does have some exploration into her being related to
That's
Lian
true.
Da and Kragok, but anyway, Lian Da is evil. That's all that really matters.
I mean, yeah, she's just an asshole, basically.
This is the part where they basically you can infer that Simon disappeared because he was kidnapped too.
Right.
Yeah, I guess what my problem was with the Girls Rule special was that Julie Sue says he disappeared soon after, but it's like, did you come back and he was gone, or was he with you and literally vanished? I don't know.
I'm assuming that's what's being implied is that she came back to come and see him and he was gone.
Yeah, but she's thrown in a cell with him and her mom.
Yep, because Dimitri, as usual, is just a petty jerk, and like he could totally like vaporize everyone anytime,
Uh-huh.
but instead he's like, "Oh, now I have to get the family together first. Ah, good, everyone's here. Now I can vaporize everyone."
Jesus
Everyone
Christ.
really is here because, hey, this is our first appearance of Morituri Rex in forever.
Oh, yeah.
Did he always wear a giant monogrammed M on his chest?
I hope he did, because I love
I don't
that.
remember that.
He did.
It's really funny. But yes, what Lauren is saying is true, is that he got everyone together so that he could activate the quantum beam, a giant-ass laser that completely engulfs Echidnopolis.
So why is it called the quantum beam? What makes it quantum?
Well, we'll see later
I
that
don't remember.
it sure looks like it just completely obliterates Echidnopolis
Yeah.
in all its forms. That's not actually true.
I think he says something to the effect of like they'll all
Guardian.
be in prison like I was or something like that.
Yeah, he said I at least I had the compassion to
Oh,
sentence
yeah.
everyone into a zone as they did to us so long ago. God, that is a horribly worded sentence.
It's so wordy.
Yeah, it just but he says they were sent to a zone.
Right.
And Knuckles just barely managed to escape, I guess.
But
Also,
remember, we learned in the adventure arc that sometimes a zone is just the afterlife, so it could have just vaporized them.
That is true.
yeah, also they show Lorelei and Windmacher embracing in this carnage,
Yeah.
but they're not
They're
on
at
Angel
Albion.
Island.
Yeah, we saw them land. I guess it doesn't matter. They were still on Angel Island, I guess.
See,
I don't
that's
know.
why I was like, it doesn't look like Albion. So
No,
I
but-
feel like
but they were
that's
just-
just a place they call the Albion Chalet, even though it's not on Albion.
I
Maybe,
guess so.
what does chalet mean? Does that mean a hotel?
It is a type of accommodation. Oh yeah. Oh, it's a specifically like a Swiss style cabin.
Okay, so yeah, maybe it's just named that, I guess.
I'm guessing it is because I mean, well,
That
we
would
know
explain a
Albion
lot.
is where the echidnas are from.
Yeah, it's where we took the Lost Tribe. So maybe it's not
Right.
actually That's really stupid that they named it that.
I mean, yes,
Confusing.
it is. It is stupid.
I mean, I guess that happens in real life, but I don't want it to be the case in real life either. You ever been to Paris, Texas? I don't think so.
No, but I'd like to.
All right. Well, anyway, Knuckles escapes the blast, but is left completely alone, drifting on a bit of rubble in the sea, which is where we saw him at the start.
Yep,
And that's the end.
it has an end. I
It-
thought this madness would keep going.
I'm
Well,
gonna be
you know
honest.
what?
It barely has an end. That's not a satisfying ending.
Yeah, I'm just saying it ends.
I mean, at least it does end.
I mean, it's a cliffhanger and it's a setup to a ongoing arc, so it is what it is. I think it is a bad story for any issue when Penders is the better half of it.
Yeah, I mean, we can
That's
say
not
this at
always
least.
true.
We can say this at least. It definitely has the better art.
That's true.
But
I would
that's
agree
like-
with that.
That's like comparing fucking, eating chocolate cake to, I don't know, drinking out of the toilet.
Sheesh.
But yeah, both the stories are bad for a super special, certainly. One, because why are you spending time on, universe plot lines that make no sense? And then this one, because it feels like just one of the other Knuckles side stories, but just longer. Why is it here in a super special?
Completely replaceable, and like
Well,
yeah.
yeah,
it's Penders, so they waste so much time.
that's true. It is very drawn out. I think my point is that I'm used to the Knuckles plot lines being like part 77 of 2000, but in a
Yeah.
super special, it should try to be somewhat self-contained.
Yeah, that's fair. And yeah, we reintroduced the Dark Legion. We reintroduced the entire cast of the Knuckles series, essentially, because we haven't seen Echidnopolis in a while. And then we shot them with a big laser, so we're not going to see them again for a really long time.
Yeah. Well, what exactly was the point of this, of doing that?
The specials
To make
suck
us
is the point.
to make us
Yep.
care that they got shot.
I don't know.
I
We're not gonna dwell on it. That's my ultimate goal. Let's move on here to our second comic. Wow, it's been a while and we've just done one issue. I'm gonna have to cut this down.
It was a super special.
Yeah, but Sonic the Hedgehog number 88, and that's Chuck roboticizing Sonic.
Yeah, it is.
This
It's
never
also
happens in the issue.
no,
No.
it doesn't. But it looks fucking cool.
Also,
I
notice
don't like
the
Chuck's face, but otherwise it looks nice.
story here is Family Matters, which is funny because Sonic is voiced by Urkel, but written by Carl Ballers and drawn by James Fry. James Fry, we missed you. The freedom fighters arrive home to find the Acorn military preparing for a full assault on Robotropolis. The Queen is undergoing intense surgery thanks to Elias, who was kidnapped in the process of recovering special medicine. It's a race against the clock to save the prince before he's roboticized.
I'm so glad to be back in like the Sonic plotline, and we're not being derailed by Sonic Adventure. We're not being upstaged by Knuckles, because the balance is actually restored in this issue. We can actually just spend time back in, the ongoing Sonic storyline.
Yeah, we haven't been back in Napple for a really long time. But it's funny because, they get home and it's like, wow, they're busy right now because we just get home and it's like, oh, there's Max suited up in full armor leading a charge of angry mobs.
And we're back, of course, with the king being the king in new ways, actually, kind of. But still, he's still an idiot. Like, oh yes, my son was captured. I wonder if I have like a secret service that can go and sneak into Robotropolis and rescue him. I mean, I do. Yeah, I'll use them as part of this army and just storm the place. There is a 100% chance that there will be casualties just attacking Robotropolis head on. Don't do that.
I mean, yeah, there's one thing we've determined. It's that King Max is not entirely there.
See, in any other context, if we hadn't seen nearly as much of King Max up to this point, I would say that he was acting irrational because he cared for his son. But the problem is that it's King Max, so he's just being a dumbass.
Yeah.
And Elias at least was valiant. He snuck into the fortress, maybe without telling anybody. I don't know if he took this as a secret mission to get a substance that can supposedly help the queen. We don't really know what it is. It kind of just looks and sounds like mercury, which you'd think would make it worse.
This is confusing. Yeah, okay, so Elias sneaking off, sure, okay, fine. I can see that. But then
a single vial
it does
containing
not
a metallic
actually
liquid.
say why he went to Robotropolis looking for a cure. He's just like,
He just did.
Maybe there's a cure there. And
wait,
then
no,
there is a cure
yeah,
there.
never mind, yeah.
Why does Eggman have a magic medical cure?
Why does he know about it?
Eggman?
Yeah, and how does he find it so easily? I mean, or at least this is like a crazy coincidence.
Well, so, I mean, that begs the question then, if it's just a coincidence that he found it, why was he going to Robotropolis?
Exactly. It doesn't make sense either way you slice it.
No, it doesn't.
And then, okay, I do find it hilarious that in the flashback, the king is just like, a girl got the vial, because, who cares about Mina?
Yeah, we can see that it's made of Max has no idea who she is. So.
And this, once again, brings my question, why the fuck do they keep using her if she's not going to be important enough to fucking call her by her name?
Oh, just you wait, Bruce.
I think every time I've brought that up, that's been the exact response.
But I don't understand here how, like, he can pass off the bag and then get captured immediately. Like, logistically, that doesn't make much sense to me.
Yeah, that would mean he was already outside.
In the context of this issue, I have no idea how he got it to her and got kidnapped at the same time without her getting kidnapped.
And then the cherry on top is that Mina comes over and is like, oh, look, I have a thing from Elias. Look, there's a weird... The king even says the mysterious liquid. And then Dr. Quagga's like, give me that. Let's use it ASAP on the queen.
Let's just inject it, and now we're doing surgery. So, sure hope that works. I hope we're not just killing her.
Exactly.
Sally has the usual moment of getting angry at her dad, blah, blah, blah. It's just depressing seeing her in most contexts now. She was fine in the adventure arc, I guess, but she didn't do much.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
Sonic and company say hi to their friends and families before leaving. except Antoine and Bunny, because Antoine's still injured. Which means that Sonic gets to be stuck with Jeffrey for this one.
Normally I wouldn't be happy about that, but he's not terrible.
It's Baller's Jeffrey,
No,
so it's fine.
Yeah, he's
fine.
not like irredeemably awful. So we've got Uncle Chuck going to go talk to Elias in prison.
Yes, Chuck is here because he's gonna take center stage at Robotropolis because Eggman is slow, which yeah, sure, makes sense. But this is kind of interesting, actually. Having Chuck be in charge in Eggman's absence, kind of like that.
Well, yeah, he's become Eggman. At least at the moment, he's become Eggman's second in command.
Makes
You know,
sense.
I suppose that could be part of it, is that they're storming Robotropolis because Eggman's not here right now. He's still in Station Square.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. I guess maybe the king wasn't 100% stupid, but more like 90% stupid.
I mean, if anything, it might be a worse time because Uncle Chuck is probably it might be even more competent than Eggman is.
Yeah.
Yeah, very possibly. There's a bit where Sonic is consoling Sally, and it's really funny because Jeffrey is just standing behind them scowling.
Yeah. So they head out, and I will say, I love James Fry's art of this huge group of characters and the king using the sword and crown of acorns. Like, much as I don't like him, he looks kind of cool here.
No,
my
yeah,
only problem with this art is how Sonic's quills are drawn.
yes.
But that's just a problem with drawing Sonic straight on in the first place.
They look like, just hair, and also his arms are blue. But
well, okay, yeah, but that's like kind of a minor issue.
That happens so often in this comic. We can't point it out every time.
Yeah, no, just the quills, But again, that's just a issue with drawing Sonic front on.
Yeah, so they get in there. They're actually doing a pretty good job, and they catch Chuck right in the middle of trying to roboticize Elias.
Yeah, I guess Chuck standing in front of Elias would have been a proper cover, but then it wouldn't have had Sonic on the cover, so they couldn't do that.
Right.
You could have had Sonic like breaking in through the background or something.
That would have made more sense.
Yeah, that's true.
But you're expecting these comics to make sense. That's your first mistake. Or excuse me, specifically the covers.
It's funny, he says you're too late, far, far too late, but no, they're not, because they can
they're not. They can just stop you.
We do see one thing, which is that this links up to part of the other plot line that's going to be running here, where Bunny, Antoine, and Amy, as a slightly random assortment of characters, are making plans to leave for Mercia.
So this is why I love Antoine, because he's just like, guys, I've got this injury and I really just need to rest and recuperate. So I'm gonna go to a Eggman base and try to save my dad. Yeah.
You know what? It's got a little bit of Chadtuan.
Right? Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I really wish that Sally was going with them.
Yeah, give Sally something useful to do.
Sally seems to be at her best when she's not at home. So because she gets home and she is just crying on Rosie's shoulders, and it's like
yeah, give her something to do, and this would be the perfect thing to send her off to do.
To be fair, she probably wouldn't want to leave when her brother is being rescued.
She probably also wants to be there for because her mom's under surgery.
That's true too. Yeah.
But still, from like a character standpoint, it makes more sense to send Sally out with Antoine and Bunny over Amy. Actually, to be fair,
a funness of the story perspective.
Yeah, well, to be fair, Amy makes sense in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we gotta stick her somewhere. So Sonic fights Chuck and Mutsky at the same time, which is funny, but I do like...
I love the way Chuck is drawn here with the huge eyebrows and mustache.
Oh yeah,
it's a great style.
This version of this redesigned roboticized Chuck looks really cool.
I wish he was the color other than blue because he's Periwinkle.
Well, true. Also, I like the idea of Chuck using Mutsky as like an attack dog.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fun.
Yeah. There's an awesome shot in here where Max cuts a SWAT bot right down the middle.
That is really cool. That's very anime, and I'm all for it.
Yeah. And frankly, somehow Hershey and Wombat Stew are managing to pull their weight in this fight, in the background at least.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, everyone's, like, actually kind of doing pretty good until the king gets, like, punched in the back of the head.
That does happen, but it happens right after he swings his sword toward Chuck and Mutsky, and they mysteriously get their minds back for a second.
Have they not mentioned that the sword can do this already? I thought they had.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was just like, yeah, of course, that makes total sense.
Yeah,
I like it's a big deal, but
I immediately was like, yeah, sure, why not? That makes perfect sense because I figured it had already been mentioned.
All the acorn artifacts seemingly can do that,
right?
They all have like mental
I don't know
clarity
if they specifically
powers.
said that, but this becomes the sword's thing for right now.
Right.
So.
Right.
But yeah, because apparently this whole time Sonic has been like keeping an eye on the king, and that's the only reason that he hasn't been beat up. And the moment Sonic is paying attention to Chuck instead, that's when he gets bobbed.
Yeah.
Yep. And Chuck and Mutsky disappear behind a spinning wall door, and yeah, then King Max gets donked, and Sonic's like, I can't friggin' take this. But the king's injured bad, so we have one acorn leaving surgery and then one entering it as soon as we get back.
One immediately going into surgery.
Uh-huh.
But you know, as one piece of a whole, this story is fun enough. It's good action, decent enough drama.
Yeah, it is not bad.
My central thesis for this era of the comics is that Ballers is a better writer than people give him credit for, and that doesn't mean that this issue is amazing or even that any of his issues are, but this is like passable compared to a lot of what we've gotten.
They are perfectly okay.
It's competent, yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, here's Penders with Picking Up the Pieces, Penders and Ballers. Knuckles awakens on a piece of debris in the open sea following the attack from the Dark Legion. Grandfather Aether appears to advise him to seek answers in Albion. And, yeah, this is the only reason anyone bought that last special. But, Knuckles is floating in the sea. Fun fact, I read this issue before I read the last special, and so I was like, wait, what happened? Am I supposed to not know what's going on? And, no, you are.
Yep, just like how I read this. In the good old archive.
Oh yeah, because you didn't have it in the archives.
Yep.
My God.
That story was in Archives Volume 23, you liar.
If anything, that's probably a pretty common experience with these comics, especially when they were coming out. Because you gotta imagine, not everyone knew that a Super Special was coming out.
Well, and especially since you look at Super Special 14, you look at the cover, you think that they're probably going to put the most important story first, and then you look inside, and it's ugly courtroom drama Sonic. And it's like,
and you're like, alright, I don't gotta read this shit. And then you get to here, and you're like, oh, what the fuck did I miss?
Well, have no fear, Aether is here to explain absolutely nothing.
So,
Aether back to their old...
Yeah, let's say, pretty much standard.
Yeah, he basically just says, go there.
I'm always thrown through the loop when the silly parody characters like Bravo the Hedge are still super important to the plot.
Yeah, and now drawn, with full modern style Stephen Butler art, and his boots look more like combat boots now, which is funny because he's supposed to be old-timey.
I don't like the fact that his entire outfit is literally one color.
Yeah, it's a bit drab.
Come on, give him some color.
He's also supposed to be more cyan, but he's just almost completely Sonic blue here.
Yeah.
Or turquoise, whatever.
Bluish.
And yeah, Aether's like, yeah, go there, and I think the guiding star gem is going to point Knuckles toward Albion, because he needs just a magic compass. Fair enough, I guess he has that in the games anyway, and it's just an innate power, but,
I guess, but
it's funny, because there's so many things that are just innate powers in this continuity, and it's funny that thing is flipped to not in this case.
Yeah, the one thing that you could justify on the basis that Game Knuckles can do it.
Right.
Speaking of Robbo, he apparently has a child with Marianne.
Yeah, how long has it been?
Apparently more than 9 months. The time in these
comics are...
The timing is... Yeah, that's true.
Also, how old are any of these people? You can never tell their ages just by looking at them.
Yeah.
Well, remember, these are anthropomorphic animals, so ages are different anyway, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, in theory...
But we do get a link with, obviously, the other story here, which is that Amy, Bunny, and Antoine show up here, and Robbo immediately tries to shoot Antoine because he thinks he's his dad, which is like, I get it, obviously family
fair enough,
but you may notice that he's not fucking Chrome.
Well, no, but Robbo shot him when he was still covered in shadow.
Okay, so yes, but no. Robbo is just a complete idiot here. Yeah, so first, yeah, the initial attack, whatever. But then Amy shows up and is like, "Hey, Robbo, it's me." And then he's like, "Wait a minute, you're not you." And then he's like, "What?"
Oh.
And then she's like, "What? But don't attack Antoine either way." And then he's like, you're right. He's not a robot, but he does still look a lot like the sheriff." Like, what?
Sins of the father-ass motherfucker.
And then it's Knuckles for some reason that's like, cut it out. And Robbo's like, "Oh, you look like an important character. I guess I will."
It's hilarious that, like, especially in this shot of Amy trying to awkwardly explain her age magic to him. It's hilarious that these characters are supposed to be from the same place, because not only do they look and dress so different, but they also talk completely differently, because Amy talks normal, but he still talks in old Sherwood expressions. But yes, Knuckles is here to say we need to go to Albion.
That silhouette of Knuckles is very intimidating.
I think the real reason that Robbo listened to him is he
was like, saw that.
I don't want to mess with him.
I don't want to mess with that guy.
Again, I'm stealing this observation, but it so perfectly reflects what an omen it is to see Knuckles in these comics.
It really is.
Omen?
And yes, this is, of course, a cliffhanger, because Fender's stuff can never happen in just one issue, so they are going to Albion, and that's it.
Yep, but, I'm glad that there's not enough time, because like I said, it's good that Knuckles is on the side. Well, I mean, it's not like this Knuckles plotline, I should say.
Yeah.
It's a weird world where these Knuckles stories being shoved into Sonic issues makes me almost miss the Knuckles series.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, they have kind of maybe gotten somewhat more tolerable since then, but not by a huge margin.
So I think to me it's more just they're taking up space in Sonic issues that get cliffhangers. That's like, I just want this resolved now.
In the original Knuckles comics, in the 3-issue arcs, those were at the very least stories, not good stories, but there is
they were still stories. There was a beginning, middle, and end.
And here it feels like it's all middle,
and then middle that is supposed to be an ending.
It's mid.
I mean, yeah.
Anyway. That's actually too high praise, in my opinion.
You're right. Let's move on to some quality mid. This is Sonic number 89, and oh look, another misleading cover.
Yeah, that's just what they're doing now, apparently.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm not 100% sure what's going on in this cover.
So, Sally's pointing dramatically and angrily at Sonic, who's running away for some reason. Jeffrey is looking smug. There's another Astel in the background. There's that thing from that one Dreamcast game. I think we've seen it before. And there's a statue of Mega Man in the background.
Yeah, this cover confuses me.
I think Spaziant likes Mega Man. We've seen him in a couple of these.
That is true. I mean, I can't blame him. Mega Man is cool.
This is Thicker Than Water, Ballers and Fry. Returning from their assault on Robotropolis, Maximilian is gravely injured, and both Sonic and Sally are distraught. Hedgehog and Evil Doctor alike make plans for the Sword of Acorns, which is what restored Charles and Mutsky's free will last time. And
the nurse on the first page is literally just an anime girl with an animal nose.
Sally's running away crying again.
Oh.
She used to kick dudes in the face.
I know.
This drama is so forced too, because it's literally just Sonic was about to explain, but then Sally is like, "No, but then I might understand. I gotta run and cry instead."
And that is literally the basis for most of the drama recently has been just Sonic is about to say, "Sally, let me explain," and then Sally just says no and leaves while crying.
And yeah, Elias says, "I'll help," and then we cut to Robotropolis, which, fair enough, I'd rather see Robotropolis, but
I mean, yeah.
Something is
Guess who's coming back?
Something is really up with the way Fry is drawing Eggman in this issue.
I like it, honestly. These super sharp shoulders.
The sharp shoulders look really cool, but he's looking extra eggy.
Which is perfect.
It is, with a name like Eggman.
Well, it's like you compare his hands could grip like an entire bottle of how thin his legs are. Like his legs are like toothpicks comparatively.
That is true, they are, but
And
I
yes,
don't
he is
care. The
very
art looks
pointy.
cool.
This looks like the Invader Zim version of Eggman. we get another like point of view tease with Mina being like, I wonder why Sonic's upset. But again, she's still not actually part of the story yet.
Not yet.
And, well, actually, to be honest, I don't mind this next scene, because Elias does indeed go to talk to Sally, and you know what? At least they are freaking talking about stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not going to be Sonic to do it, I'm okay with Elias doing it. In fact, Elias makes more sense.
I am good with Eli being the one redeemable member of Sally's family.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, I like this scene just because it reminds me that Sally has some people that in their family that isn't a complete jerk, but it does highlight because Elias just like, you know why Sonic like had to leave your dad's side? It's to save me, and Sally's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I wish we had just done that before. We could have saved several pages.
And then it cuts immediately to Sonic, who doesn't hear any of this. It's like, man, that was horrible. I've let everyone down.
Yeah. Also, I like that maybe I'm just a loose cannon, always acting before thinking. That sure won't come up in the near future.
Definitely.
I think that displays the difference is that Sonic I can always expect to bounce back from an emotional funk.
Right.
If Sally had been more like that, I wouldn't mind nearly so much that she's so dour. It's the fact that she's just this miasma of misery that's my
Well, she's constantly like that. Like, she never gets the chance to bounce back.
Yeah, that's why I wanted her to leave with
exactly
and the others, is because if she's on a mission, she mostly can't do that.
Right. Exactly.
But yes, the sword. The sword is what's important right now. The sword restores Robin's free will, and so Eggman wants it.
Makes sense.
And Sonic is after it too. Although mostly we just have like 2 full pages of him eating chili dogs, so you know he's doing okay.
Yeah, he gets some chili dogs in his mouth and gets to hang out with Tails for a little while. He'll be fine.
After another gratuitous Mina-ism, we see Sonic like skulking around the sword place. I have to assume this is the same place that Amy stole the Ring of Acorns from, and
yes, it is. Yeah,
yes,
it is.
This is on point continuity. Anyone can walk in and take stuff, and it's totally fine. It is truly.
Yeah.
But hey,
literally, I think I can't actually tell, but I'm pretty sure it's. They're like, it was Hershey? Just a breeze.
Hershey.
Sure, that was Hershey. It was definitely just a breeze.
yeah, obviously.
But hey, the acorns are both out of surgery.
Yeah, the mysterious cure worked, apparently.
Yeah, no explanation on what that was.
Yeah, we're never gonna get to know exactly what the cure was, just that it worked.
See, in the back of my mind, I'm like, maybe she's gonna turn evil later or something.
Well, I'm expecting something like.
But I don't know, because it's always a coin flip with these comics. They're either setting something up and being smart, or they're not, and they're being stupid.
Yeah, because I'm half expecting that to be like, oh, it's liquid roboticizer or something, and she's gonna start like roboticizing from the inside out. I don't think that's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know, but this is significant at least. You know, the Queen is awake after like 150 issues and 10 years in universe.
God damn.
I mean, it's not really that long because the Queen wasn't really even a factor for a while, so...
I guess it's
just, that's true.
Well,
we've had a lot of issues.
We've known that she doesn't have her parents.
Right, but we haven't
the King was the focus for so long.
Yeah,
I kind of just assumed the Queen was dead for a while.
I mean, that was a safe assumption.
Until eventually they're like, oh, no, not actually.
Yeah, no, the Brotherhood just has her in fucking cryosleep.
How long ago did we see Jeffrey start building that team to go recover them? It was really long time ago.
Not 150 issues.
No. Well, no, 150 issues is like how much we've read in total or something.
It's less than that, because our last issue was the 147th issue. That was our... Okay. I think it was 78, but in any case.
Another thing is I just don't care, because King Max, there were like flashbacks about them, and there were bits when like, you know, you saw them when they had their mind was lost, but the Queen has just been in stasis
she has
forever,
been a
and
prop
people
this entire story.
people have been moping about her, but
we
there's
also
been,
haven't
like,
seen
no moments of like, oh, don't you remember when she did this or that? No, they make no attempt.
Point. That is a really good point, and I was just thinking about that. That we've seen literally nothing about the Queen other than that. Hey, she exists.
I suppose, but at least for how the conflict affected the other characters, I would say it's something.
Oh yeah, no, this is definitely a big. This is a big event in universe. I think is a good way to put it. To readers, has a lot less impact.
Yeah. Anyway, Sonic stole the sword.
Yeah, yep. Sonic just stole the sword.
I like that he does this right after being like, "Man, I act without thinking too much."
Literal, immediate
bad idea. You can already see someone's following him.
I mean, it's not a great idea.
It's an idea.
It's an idea. I see where he's coming from.
I mean, I get where he's coming from. He noticed that Uncle Chuck and Mutsky had a moment when the sword was pointed at them.
Yeah.
At least he's like, okay, well, he can put 2 and 2 together, but he's still also, the live fast, die hard attitude.
Well, let's see what's happening with Penders. This is a matter of
do we have to?
Yeah.
A matter of self-interest. Ken Penders and Stephen Butler. Knuckles, Bunny, Antoine, Robbo, and Amy travel to Albion in hopes of getting help with General DeCoulet and the recent catastrophe on Angel Island. And really, that's it. They're just traveling there.
Yeah.
They get there.
I mean, they get there, but I feel like not a whole lot actually happens when they're there.
I do like that we start with Rob being like, "Hey, Knuckles, why didn't you just become Jesus again and walk to Albion?" Knuckles like, "I didn't feel like it."
Okay. I read that and was like, yeah, that is a good question.
But they were echidnas. None of the other ones.
Yeah, they're God's chosen people.
Yeah,
that's right.
God's chosen people to stand in a room. We see the...
Speaking of standing in rooms.
Yeah, speaking of standing in rooms.
Well, listen, this is the Lost Tribe, right? We're seeing them here again after bringing them home. And despite being a bunch of loners in animal skins and sandals, they've just transformed into normal, boring, high-tech echidnas here.
Yeah. Well, they came to the city and they're like, look at all this technology. Back to our roots. Now we are a new council. If only we were stupider, then we could be like a cool secret organization or something. But no.
Yeah. Also, they're changing the colors on them. Galana was purple before, now she's red. She's just
they're echidnas. They all have to be red.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that Yanar was red before and he's brown now.
That's true, he was. Well, red is just like lame brown. Or brown is just lame red.
Okay.
Actually, wait, no, brown is lame orange, excuse me.
And despite all of that, one of the things we saw with the Lost Tribe is, they're, very different from what we find in Echidnopolis. But no, they're just spying on them with cameras as usual, and they're like, we better be suspicious of all his friends because they're not echidnas. They're just the same isolationist losers.
Yeah, you're right. They're closer to the Brotherhood than I thought, actually.
It really just comes off as just echidnas are just like that.
Except Knuckles.
The technology that corrupts them.
Except Knuckles. Yeah, it must be the technology, because, other than that, it's why would they be like this? Why would they not trust non-echidnas?
It's because Ken Penders wants them to be Kryptonians and Vulcans and not even a regular...
Oh, well, actually, to be fair, with the Lost Tribe, I think you could make the argument that kind of makes sense, because, if I remember correctly, they were basically just either ran out of everywhere they tried to stay, or, attacked by other species.
I guess, but they integrate perfectly with Galana. Was she just alone in this city after this point? I don't know.
Yeah, she was.
Which is weird, because...
Which does also beg the question, why the fuck was she there?
Yeah.
I don't think that was actually explained.
I don't think so. Anyway, so they... They make it ashore, and they show up. Galana's like, "Hey guys, how's it going? You're home at the motherland," and it's like, "Oh, this is Echidnopolis again."
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, the comic being somewhat chaste, saying, "Oh yeah, Bunny and Antoine are sleeping in separate rooms." Okay, but Yanar comes to tell Knuckles that they have Antoine's dad captive here.
Which why do they have Antoine's dad captive?
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
that's...
The fortress at Mercia was blown up, so...
But why would he be here
Yeah.
Especially when they were like, oh, keep outsiders away.
Except for this one outsider that we want for some reason.
You know what? They were just inspired. They were like, every secret society has to have a locked up prisoner in stasis.
Ah, yes, the Brotherhood had the fucking queen.
That's right.
We have to be the bootleg Brotherhood.
Maybe it's for research, Maybe,
I guess.
Because think of it this way. If Dr. Robotnik wasn't roboticizing people, maybe the echidnas would be.
Oh my god.
Oh gosh.
Jesus.
They actually, I think in the plot, they're like, oh, we captured him and we are deciding whether we should just kill him or not. And they just haven't decided yet.
Which is one hell of an idea. Let's just murk him instead of, we have all this advanced technology. Why don't we try to find a way to de-roboticize him? Hmm?
Or at least free,
or free as well.
Control.
We've already determined that's possible.
We have a whole plot line going about it right now.
Exactly.
Yep.
And just
they can't find a ring?
Yeah.
That's
the
true,
rings.
Actually.
Okay. Well, the rings have basically just been forgotten.
We haven't seen a ring in a while. Actually, that's true.
It's been
we've barely seen the Chaos Emeralds before the Sonic Adventure arc.
Well, we'll get more of that soon.
I'm sure we will.
General DeCola, I don't know if he has a first name. I just call him the General in most of these notes. But he breaks the free as Knuckles and Yan are talking about him. And Knuckles is like, get back, let me deal with him. Easy now, bud, we can do this the easy way. And then Knuckles explodes.
I
don't understand. It's for drama, sure, but...
It is.
Why does the General wake up at the moment, they start talking about him, and, they weren't very careful with the bonds, I guess. They could have at least come up with some sort of contrived explanation, but no, they just break open through the things at this moment, because that would be convenient.
Because Knuckles was there, and he's the most important person.
He's so important that he just has to explode.
Yep.
I feel like this isn't the first time Knuckles has exploded.
It isn't the only time. We've seen it before.
I thought so.
It's the first time that he's combusted, maybe.
When they were doing research on him, he also exploded.
That's true, he did.
But that was like an energy explosion. Here you clearly see that there's fire and smoke.
Well, yeah, but
it's all the same, different flavors.
Well, to be fair, when they were conducting research on him, was that him exploding or the equipment exploding? This is actually Knuckles just detonating.
Maybe the General blew up. How do you know?
Well,
have you read ahead? Oh, of course you have.
Yes,
I have because we do 5 issues a week.
All right. Speaking of which, Sonic the Hedgehog number 90. We'll fall off that cliffhanger in a second. 90 issues, hey, and Combots, and Mina gets Central Space on the cover.
Yeah, and I'm still expecting her to not be important.
We're starting just slowly, or inching closer. Let's focus on the other aspect, though. Yeah, Combots. I completely forgot about them. They're still a thing, apparently.
Well, because who cares? Why?
I feel were they this beefy originally?
These are modified versions.
I thought so, because we haven't seen them in so long. I couldn't remember if this is what they normally looked.
Well, because
not this beefy.
I didn't think so.
Well, it's just because they're so similar to just normal SWAT bots. I don't know why you bothered making a distinction. Well, let's head into the story here. Sword of Omens, written by Carl Ballers, drawn by James Fry and Ron Lim. Sonic's quest with the stolen sword is interrupted by a despondent Mina Mongoose, hoping to get revenge on Robotnik for her family's roboticization. But yes, Mina is here, and this is her first sort of time in the spotlight. She's been hanging on the fringes for now, but now they're actually doing something with her.
All right.
Oh dear.
Oh boy.
And apparently she was going to Robotropolis entirely alone because she wanted to just do something to Robotnik to get back at him for roboticizing her family. It seems like she was just being really stupid.
Well, Mina is super depressed.
Yeah, she's depressed right now, and she wants to potentially do something to get back at Robotnik, or I think later on she even says she'd be willing to just get roboticized.
Yeah, she basically said, I don't even care what happens to me.
Yeah, she's basically suicidal.
A little bit, yeah.
Which is a little scary.
It's a little much.
Definitely much for these comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Sonic's like, well, that's... Sonic basically reacts the same way we do. Like, wow, are you going to be all right?
Yeah, but
chill
you need
out,
someone
maybe?
to talk to.
But Combots are here. They're here for the sword.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also bad because Eggman's like, it seems that Chuck's free will seems to only have been temporary, meaning Sonic is on a... it would be even more of a problem if Sonic did get here.
Right. Mm.
So the Acorn family is back together after a very long time, but Max isn't because his legs don't work.
Yeah.
One of them, break the other. That's how the plot formula works.
Yeah.
I guess it could happen in real life that if you got hit in the right spot on the head, it could make your legs not work, right?
Yeah, I think
he's paralyzed. They say as much.
That's true. They say he's paralyzed, which would mean he would have to have gotten hit like below, have his spine broken like from the waist below. Which,
well,
I guess, but he got punched in the back of the head, which I would assume would be a concussion.
You know, brain injury or something. It seems not impossible. I hold these writers to a lot of things, but not accuracy of medical injuries, really.
It's not that big a deal. So in their fight, Sonic is, trying to defend me. He looks like he's trying to use the sword on them, but he never actually swings it.
He keeps almost doing it because he keeps holding it out like he might use it, but then he doesn't.
Let's be honest. I don't think Sonic knows how to use a sword.
Yeah.
I think his plan was literally just to run into Robotropolis, free Mutsky and Uncle Chuck, and then dip out with them.
Yeah.
So now that he's being forced to fight with it, he's probably just trying to, I don't know, like, shoo them back with the sword?
Yeah, I don't know, because it's really weird what happens here, because he's like, get behind me, I'll use the sword, and then a Combot grabs Mina, and then a Combot grabs the sword, and Sonic doesn't even do anything. Like, it's not like he swings it and misses, or like he gets distracted with Mina.
It just gets pulled out of his hand.
Yeah.
They magnetize it. It's kind of weird, though, that he wasn't holding on to it enough to come along with the sword. Like, he didn't have a very good grip on it, apparently.
Again, doesn't know how to use a sword.
Yeah, not experienced with sword. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect him to know how to use a sword.
The bit right after this has some really confusing dialogue. Because Sonic is like, that robot has a sword that I came and stole and I want, but the other one has Mina. But Mina basically said that she didn't care if she gets roboticized.
Mm-hmm.
So what should I do? And he's like, this makes absolutely no sense. Yeah. And then he attacks the robot with Mina. So is he saying this is a dumb decision that makes no sense?
I think...
Or is he saying the situation makes no sense?
Well, so I think to me it comes off as like Sonic just decided to do the thing that while it made less sense, it's the hero thing to do.
I think he's saying I'm doing something stupid here, but I can't let this person value a person above a sword.
Right, a sword. Granted, a sword that's pretty important, but still,
yeah, but it's a moment-to-moment thing. It's a trolley problem scenario.
Exactly. It's which is the lesser of the two dumb decisions, and it's saving the actual living creature.
Yeah. But unfortunately, Sonic gets injured in the process of this, which means that he's completely unconscious, and the sword's gone.
Yeah, yay! Sonic fucked up.
Yep. So we hit the next page. Everything is suddenly drawn by Ron Lim, and it's like, wow, this is not nearly as good.
Yeah, that's very jarring. It goes from very angular to very round.
Yeah. So Mina grabs Sonic and discovers, apropos of nothing, that she has super speed just like him?
Apparently.
Yeah, I'm a little confused what's going on here.
It's very interesting because, I look at it and I want to say, well, they don't even go out of their way to explain it, how silly. But it's like, they never explained it for Sonic, and if they tried to, I would think whatever they said would probably be dumb. So...
Well, and I guess it kind of makes sense why it wouldn't be explained for Mina, because she doesn't know what's going on either.
Well, here's the thing. You don't have to explain it with Sonic.
No, because that's just part of his character.
That's how they work.
Sonic's doesn't need to be explained. That's just part of his character. With Mina, at the moment, I don't think it needs to be explained because she doesn't know what's going on either.
Well, yeah, it's obviously a mystery they're setting up.
Right. So
but I do expect him to explain it at some point.
Oh, sure. I expect it to be explained at some point, but I also am pretty sure it probably won't be.
I don't know.
You guys are going to be waiting a while and for a different writer, but we'll technically get something eventually.
Of course.
So, Weird Bobblehead King Max says Weird Bobblehead Elias has to perform the king's duties because his legs don't work.
Which...
Not with the bobblehead like that.
Why does that mean he can't perform the king's duties?
I really don't know, because, like...
If anything, that means he's more... He should be focusing on them more. He can't go out and fucking fight.
That is a good point. This is the same guy who was, like, completely gemified and, like, angrily shouting orders.
Right.
And so, yeah, no, he would totally not, like, just...
No, I mean,
give
he's...
up like that.
On one hand, he
likes to make the decisions.
Like, on one hand, he's making I guess, competent decision, because has the king made one good decision since he was mostly brought back to some level of consciousness?
I can count a single good decision in recent memory, and that's it.
Okay. Whereas, but like...
forgiving and knighting Sonic for...
Yes, that's the one I can think of.
Alright, yeah, that's fair enough. That is probably the only good decision he's made. But also... So I guess that's a good enough reason for him to say, like, yeah, I shouldn't be the king right now. But also, there's no reason why he can't do king shit.
No, it's just to create conflict for Elias, because Elias does not care about being king.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be king. Sally doesn't want to be the fucking monarch. So...
Oh, I get it.
Well,
this is not Max being good. This is Max being like, aha! This is the perfect opportunity to pressure Elias into finally taking on kingly duties.
Children.
That's
Jesus
right.
Christ. There's also a perfectly functioning queen here.
I have no idea what she does.
True, yeah.
They never consider her as someone who can make any decisions.
Yeah, so why not just let the queen do something?
To be fair, she isn't briefed on the situation yet, so...
Yeah, she has no idea what's been going on for the last decade, so... Listen. When you look at Joe Biden nowadays, he's someone who has lived the past many years, but he still doesn't seem like he knows what's going on, so...
Alright.
Don't get political about this.
I was just gonna bring up that Elias's face is, when he gets told that he's the new king, head of state, he just has just one of the faces of all time.
It's an understandable face to have.
I feel I've seen that face elsewhere. I'm pretty sure I've made that face.
He looks like an animated character in a commercial for cold medicine who's like sick.
That, or he reminds me of like really bad emo anime edits.
Yeah. Well, at least Eggman is happy. Look at him dancing around like a schoolgirl.
This is great. I love this. This is peak Eggman.
It also looks like he fucking falls down.
He is. He's rolling around on the floor because he's so happy that they got the sword.
Oh, Eggman.
It's too early to be happy though, because something is coming down from space right toward the city.
Yeah,
I completely forgot about the two spaceships until now.
Oh, these are spaceships? Okay.
We've seen the two spaceships
before.
Yeah.
During the classic era, yeah.
Damn, they're so Oh shit!
There was such a huge break. I forgot about.
You're right. I forgot about those. I thought they were just meteors. I was like, damn, that's certainly convenient.
Yeah, but...
They do, yeah. Like,
damn, like in universe, the characters don't know they're spaceships, but we have seen that they are.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's been so long that damn.
Yeah.
It's the new space thing. There's always got to be a space thing now.
True.
Sonic and Mina are hiding out in a log, so Sonic finally wakes up and is like, shoot, I gotta get the sword. Anyway, Sonic heads towards Robotropolis real fast to get the sword. There's more fucking combats, but these ones he just fights normally.
Well, these guys aren't special because they're not camo.
That's right. They're just perfectly gray for some reason.
They still have cloaking devices.
Don't worry about the cloaking devices. They're not special.
Did Ron Lim just not... Oh, but Ron Lim's not the colorist, so...
Whoever the colorist is just fucked up.
Yeah.
We do see the reason for this in a bit, but I did find it funny in the moment that Eggman is like, oh, the meteors are coming. Let me just stand on this exposed tower in the middle of my city to observe them coming.
You gotta look at them from somewhere.
Like you do. He has satellites.
Shut up. Well,
does he want to use the? I can't even call it the Mark I eyeball because he's still a robot.
Well, in any case, yes, Eggman is safe because as Sonic fights the Combots, one of them suddenly ends up being bisected, and it's because Eggman has an energy shield that not only keeps him safe from the meteors, but also means that Sonic can't get in there.
It sure is convenient. Sonic's head was not, like, a little bit farther ahead.
Yeah, that should have... One of his quills is over the line. He should have chopped it off.
Yeah, he should have lost the quill there. Or bundle of quills? Whatever.
I could see him. I could see that happening, but
believe
that Eggman would just move it slightly, just so that Sonic doesn't die, because
he wants to kill Sonic with his own bare hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the meteors are coming, and that's our cliffhanger.
Cool.
Also, they're drawn as meteors, even though they're spaceships.
That's true.
I mean, yeah.
I guess they didn't inform Ron Lim of what they actually were.
I guess.
So yeah, it is one of the stories.
It is definitely a story.
I mean, I don't hate it. It's not like broken or anything, I guess. But
no, it was
there's little nitpicks and weird moments.
It was a story, and that's all we need to say.
Especially considering this next one, between a rock and a hard place, Penders and Butler. After a mysterious explosion in Albion, Knuckles discovers a new power hidden within himself. We are finally here, lads.
Oh no.
I have been waiting for this moment the entire fucking show. So everyone is in bad shape after the random explosion of Knuckles. But they're not... nobody's actually injured.
No, because no one can...
Of course not.
No one can die.
Yeah, nothing is actually a problem.
Except Hawking eventually.
Yeah, except Hawking. He got to die. He deserved it.
There is 2 or 3 pages dedicated to the Freedom Fighters breaking out of their hotel because I guess they're locked in there, question mark?
Well, I assume the place is on fucking lockdown.
I don't know if it's on lockdown because of the explosion or if Albion did it on purpose because they were suspicious of them.
A little from column A, a little from column B?
Yeah, I suppose. They also have to pretend to be firefighters to get to the scene, even though they don't... There's nobody of any authority that they walk past, so...
Also, the fire brigade that also conveniently has 2 hedgehogs, a bunny, and a fucking coyote.
Yeah, nobody's like, hey, those guys aren't echidnas.
Yeah, they're not echidnas.
But yes, they arrive at the scene, everything is drenched in smoke, and Knuckles has officially become GRUCKLES. He's green.
Oh boy.
I knew this day would come eventually. I could never have prepared for it, though.
You've hyped this up so much, Devin.
This is one of the most infamous parts of the Archie comics and of Ken Penders as a whole. Knuckles is going to be green for a surprising amount of time.
Alright. Well, this better not disappoint.
Yes, so Knuckles... I guess he exploded in reaction to being attacked by the General.
Which, that makes sense, sure.
A very weird defense mechanism, but whatever.
I want that defense mechanism.
You're gonna kill your family with that.
No, nobody can die from it.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
It just knocks everyone out.
It
just knocks them out, don't worry.
So Galina remarks that Knuckles looks the way that Dimitri did after using the Chaos Siphon.
And I had to rack my brain to remember what Dimitri looked like after using the Chaos Siphon.
He was green.
I mean, I figured that much.
This is, of course, because of Locke's experimentation, though, so it's a little...
Of course.
So it truly cannot be stated how bad this plotline is going to get. And it's not even just because he's green, you'll see.
I mean, I'm very excited to see how this goes, because it can only go somewhere.
The General is up and attacking, so GRUCKLES conjures a magical force field to contain him.
There's a line with extra meaning here, too, because the General slaps Antoine.
Yeah!
And then Knuckles is like, that's not a way a dad should act towards his boy. Yes, that holds a lot of meaning coming from Knuckles.
He'd know. Antoine says, we saw Rotor earlier, who gave us a nifty Robian neutralizer. When the hell did that happen?
Yeah, A, when the fuck did that happen? And B, Rotor just had that?
Of course. Rotor does have things.
Also, wow, Rotor is, they're slowly bringing him back into relevancy.
Kind of in this 2-panel flashback out of nowhere.
Oh, he had a story last week.
I feel like Mercia is not that far away. Yeah, that
seems like it would be out of the way.
Also, isn't Rotor in like the North Pole?
Yeah.
To be fair, now that I'm thinking about it, it does actually make sense that Rotor would have this because he's been dealing with his family that are mind controlled.
Yeah, but they're not roboticized.
They're not roboticized. But
roboticized is what he's used to working with, probably.
That's true.
Yeah, like maybe he thought he could adapt it somehow.
I guess
the more traditional.
I'm guessing maybe he couldn't, and that's why he just gave it to Antoine.
Yeah. Also, can we talk about the screwed up coloring on Galina here? She's clearly wearing some kind of outfit with stitches in the chest, but it's drawn as red, so it just looks like she's been stitched together down the middle.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's
She's just an asshole because Antoine is like, "Hey, we can just neutralize my dad with this nifty thing," and she's like, "No, we need to kill him.
To die." Yeah, she's just like, "No, kill,"
which is so dumb.
And then Knuckles just screams, "No."
Yes, it can get dumber because Gruckles shouts "no." His eyes turn into Chaos Emeralds. Everybody flies out to the sides of him, and then they reappear, teleported to completely different areas.
This frame at the top is just hilarious.
I love the just no punctuation or anything.
Yeah, no punctuation, no stylization. It's not even a word bubble. It's just plainly typed.
Bold no.
And you've got the solid green Gruckles with the emerald eyes. It just looks ridiculous. It's supposed to be like a cool moment, but it's not cool.
It's so silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just it like memory holes everyone forward in time or something, or I guess it just rewrites reality because Antoine and Bunny are back on the jet with the general subdued. Amy is back in Mercia with Rob, and Knuckles is just gone.
Yeah, shouldn't Amy be on the jet with Bunny and Antoine, being she came with them?
I guess Gruckles decided she needs to be at home in Mercia.
Yeah, but she lives in Knothole.
It seems like Sonic saved her in the Sonic CD comic, and they just never took her home.
I never really thought about that.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that either. And also, Robbo did not seem that concerned that she hadn't come home in, like, years.
Yeah,
What a great cousin.
It's so dumb, you guys. Also, I like that the ending is just going on being like, that was weird, I wonder what's going to happen next time.
It's literally a next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, with even a little bit of a teaser there.
Jesus Christ.
I'm a little disappointed, though, that we didn't get to see either Knack or Nick in the corner just being like, hey, look for me next time, because I thought that was their thing. That's what they do.
Yeah. Well, we do have one more issue this week, and it is Sonic the Hedgehog number 91. And, hey, you guys remember Kodos? I didn't.
I 100% remember him. I did, however, forget that he wasn't, like, dead or something. I forgot he was, like, still around somewhere.
Yeah, remember, the last time we saw him, he was sitting in his underwear in, like, a dingy motel.
That's right, he was.
Watching the TV!
The thing is, this cover is very misleading because he has, like, no role in this issue.
He's literally on, like, the last page of the Sonic story.
Yeah. Hey, here's a fun fact. This is the final issue of the comics to be reprinted in the Archives books.
Interesting.
Yep.
The rest of the Archives books were canceled due to Penders and his lawsuits.
Yay.
Yep. So our story here is Crash. It's just called Crash. Carl Ballers and Ron Lim. As tensions rise in Knothole over the royalties' condition and the theft of the sword, Sonic struggles to invade Robotropolis, only for the sword to rest in neither his hands nor Robotnik's. And yes, we do start with Rotor again, so he is actually back for good.
So here's the thing that I don't understand. So last time we saw Rotor, he was like kind of depressed, but he decided to just leave, like give up, go home.
Yeah.
Really?
Did he? I don't remember. He was not successful in mind controlling his entire species, right?
Yeah, no, he had to run away because they turned on him.
Yeah,
but he just comes back instead of like
left instead of trying to stick around and fix it. That does not seem like something Rotor would do.
Yeah, because the whole reason he left in the first place is he knew they were mind controlled.
Right, he wanted to go
and wanted to help them. And then he went there, and then they weren't by surprise.
Right.
And then when they are again, he just gives up and leaves.
Yeah, he's just like, all right, I'm going to leave. Yeah,
I'm glad to have Rotor back in the main plot, honestly.
Yeah,
like,
it's
I
nice
think I'd like to think they just wanted to bring him back into the action, but this is kind of disappointing.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know. I feel like they already, when he was there, they were not doing much with him.
But at least this makes much more. It gives them a much bigger opportunity. Whereas before he would almost never show up.
Yeah, I mean that's true.
So yeah, there's a bunch of smoke everywhere because the meteors, quote unquote, hit, but didn't damage anything because Mina comes out of the smoke, she's fine, and then Sonic dusts himself off. I think he was burrowed in the ground actually, and he's fine.
Yeah, he was.
I just realized Mina is surprised, but nobody asked how Mina survived. Like, there's an explanation for Sonic, but not for Mina. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, you know,
just it was far enough away, I guess.
Sure.
I guess, but you know, a meteor crash, I would think that would be pretty devastating.
Yeah. So Eggman tries. He doesn't even care about all this going on. He's just like, oh yeah, whatever. So Eggman tries and fails to test the sword's liberating abilities.
I do find it funny that Eggman offhandedly is like, oh, I have the sword and Sonic's dead, but he doesn't make a big deal out of it because I think he knows deep down that Sonic isn't actually dead.
Well, yeah, the next part after that where he's like, I'll make Sonic pay by striking down his beloved uncle, and then he just gives up and he's like, I don't want to do it if he can't watch me.
That is so on brand.
It is a little weird. We're going to get several weird scenes with Robotnik like this, because it's just kind of Eggman without anyone to talk to, so he's just kind of yelling alone in his room.
Well, so why not? It's like, why not just have him talk to Chuck, since Chuck is there?
Yeah, it's like Chuck doesn't respond.
Or Combot, or bring back Crab Meat.
I don't necessarily want Crab Meat back.
No, I know.
But yes, any robot really will do. Yeah, the Crab Meat used to serve that purpose. Right. It is weird they don't have anyone there.
Or Snively. I mean, Snively escaped from prison, right?
Dude, I literally
think
forgot
he's with
about
the Goon
Snively.
Squad right now, maybe.
Yeah. The Goon Squad wanted him to be their leader for some reason.
I can't believe I forgot about Snively. The story forgot about Snively too.
That's true. The story
makes some weird appearances and disappearances, but anyway, I'm looking at this next scene in Knothole, and I'm trying to parse whether there's actually any significant information or if it's just we talked over the things that are going on. We do get bobbleheaded Nate, but
yes,
we do get bobbleheaded Nate.
Nate looking sad in front of the king is just amazing.
Yeah, he broke down on his knees, which is funny because you'd think that he's short enough he can just stand on full legs and still be shorter than the bed. But
well, you've never been sad enough to break down onto your knees?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I have. Maybe as a very small child.
There you go.
Anyway, so Sonic sends Mina and Rotor back to Knothole so he can go after the sword on his own, but he misses his chance when in Eggman's control room, fucking Arachnus, of all people, shows up.
Yep, that's the one.
That's the one that was following Sonic.
Yeah, and wow, what a callback to a character that did almost nothing.
Did Arachnus do anything?
I think she fought them when Nagas first showed up for
yes.
pages.
Okay.
Arachnus was a mini boss for a little bit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and this next bit is, it clears up what we were having before. Uncle Chuck reveals that he's actually had his free will back this whole time, so it is not temporary at all. And maybe you don't even have to be an acorn?
Well, the king originally freed them.
But I think that was only temporary.
It is slightly unclear whether... Because do we even see Chuck between then and now do anything that would confirm that they didn't have their free will? They could have just been playing it.
This is a reveal, yeah.
Yeah.
But either way, it doesn't really matter when it happens. I just like that at some point here, Chuck has been back to their old tricks of being undercover and fooling.
Right.
Eggman now. And it's kind of a fresh start because Robotnik had seen right through the guys, but new Eggman here.
At least hasn't yet.
Right. So it gives Chuck a new chance. I felt a little sad when Chuck's cover was blown. It's cool to have him back in the classic role.
Yeah. Yeah, so Eggman's just like, I don't know what the hell to do with any of this.
He's like, huh? The sword disappeared? Who cares? It was worthless. Even though there's maybe an intruder, something weird's got to be going on because of that. I don't care though.
Yeah, he says like, oh, Sonic can have it if he wants. It doesn't fucking work. So Ron Lim's art is getting a little bit weirder. Like we've talked about how the acorns look pretty weird under his pencils, but Rotor in particular has a really small head and giant body.
He does.
Yeah.
But I guess everybody's back home for the most part. I don't remember where Sonic's going. No, he's going into Robotropolis. Okay.
Yeah, he's going to Robotropolis, but it only I don't think that really matters right now.
No, because Arachnus has left already and taken the sword to Kodos, who yes appears for exactly one panel.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't the last page. I thought it was.
Yeah, and Sonic is here in Robotropolis, and there's a bunch of Robians, and he's like, "Damn it." Because I don't have the sword and I can't do it.
Well, not just... Yeah, well, they're being led by Uncle Chuck, and I don't think he wants to fight Uncle Chuck directly.
Yeah.
Also, wait, this would be the perfect moment for Chuck to run away with Sonic if he wanted to, but I guess he can't.
Because Chuck is still trying to, keep his head down.
It would be a nice bit of...
He literally says as much.
Yeah, exactly.
Irony.
Yeah, he says it.
It would be a nice bit of dramatic irony if, Chuck talked to Sonic quiet enough for Robotnik to not hear, but Sonic didn't know that Chuck was going to do that because he thinks he's still roboticized, so he just runs away, so he can't even get in touch with them.
Yeah,
that might have been. That'd
be interesting.
But Eggman was literally announcing on the intercom, so I have to imagine that he's actually watching too.
Yeah, probably.
Not really too feasible.
But Sonic runs away and discovers that the meteorites are not meteorites; they're spaceships, and they're opening, and that's our cliffhanger.
Yep.
There's a lot of random back and forth in this issue without any real conclusions.
Yeah.
It's a weird one. But it can get weirder, as I've said a couple times, because this is Hired Guns by Penders and Butler. Bounty hunters Nick and Knack are sent on a mission to target none other than Knuckles. And I see why you wanted a preview of them last time, Lauren. That was very clever.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting to get into one of the really annoying things about this era of Archie, which is that the obviously better artist keeps ending up on the backup stories, while the main ones kind of languish.
Yeah.
Because, you can look at these two pages going from Ron Lim to Stephen Butler, and, Butler's not my absolute favorite, but he's pretty competent.
No, that's... it is much more competent art.
Yeah. Although it is a little weird. We start here with Fang at a bar with some woman who kind of dresses like a hooker, and I'm gonna be honest, she looks like Antoine in drag.
She does kind of... Well, so I think she's supposed to be like a burlesque dancer.
It's not a criticism. Antoine would be rocking this if it were him, but it really,
he
really
would.
looks like Antoine.
Actually, it even says a watering hole of ill repute, and a house of ill repute is another name for, a whorehouse, so...
Oh, jeez. I'm amazed they got away with that, actually.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that when I read through this.
Anyway, here's Nicolette. Nicolette comes up to ask for help with a hit job. I guess we're. I guess.
Well, they are bounty hunters, so.
I always think of them as just kind of a whatever you want, but they do a lot of murder. So, anyway, so the target of the hit is, of course, it's Knuckles. Probably, it's hard to tell when the photo's not in color. Because that could be any echidna.
Yeah, it could be any echidna who doesn't wear any clothing.
And that's the Millennium Falcon?
Yeah, Nick just has the Millennium Falcon, I guess.
Nick says they got it from an old boyfriend, so I guess Han Solo was their old boyfriend.
Well, she says, I got it in a trade from an old boyfriend, which is almost word for word what Han Solo says about getting it in a trade from Lando Calrissian.
That's a good point.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, I expect... between Harrison Ford and Billy D. Williams, I expect the latter to be more of one to date an anthropomorphic weasel. So anyway, they take the Millennium Falcon out, and they head towards Angel Island, I think? Or, no, they're not going towards Angel Island.
No, they're not going.
No, they're not.
Wherever Knuckles is. And Knuckles is just kind of hanging out on the beach, and hey, he's not green right now.
He's not green at the moment, he's just glowing green.
True.
If they had kept it like this, I wouldn't have been nearly as upset, but...
honestly, though, it's not as silly, and I'm glad they kept it They kept it as Gruckles.
Yeah, the saga of Gruckles will continue.
Right.
Good.
I'm glad.
Amazingly, it turns out that the ones who were hired them was Albion, because they want to get at Gruckles, I guess.
That's not that amazing. That makes total sense. I totally saw that coming.
Well, yeah, based off of what Galena was saying in the last issue, which, by the way, her undershirt is still red.
Yeah, Fang is an assassin, and Galena is very casual about this. When they're like, so, yeah, you want us to go get Knuckles? You want us to take him out? Galena, instead of being like, no, don't do that, she's like, well, as a last resort, I'll pay you double if you bring him alive. But she will still pay them if they kill Knuckles.
Yeah, I guess it's surprising to me because I'm so used to every antagonistic echidna in this series having a connection to the Legion, and they don't.
That's right. That's the key.
That's true.
But yes, so they want to get at those secret chaos powers, and well, we're not actually going to see what happens. So
not yet.
Yeah.
This week's issues were kind of exhausting.
A little bit.
We're going to have a lot more of this hot potato game with the sword, and we're going to have a lot more Gruckles from here on out. So maybe it's just that I got to settle into the groove.
Hell yeah.
Of it. It's not all awful, but it's felt like this sort of... I think it's the fact that it's been an unending stream of content. We haven't had a breather moment.
Yeah, it's funny because previously...
in a flow, there are no like isolated... Well, except for that one at the beginning that we don't care about.
It is funny that previously I've complained about the downer issues that are like, oh, the slice of life stuff. But now I'm like kind of hoping for one.
Yeah, you
honestly,
need that contrast of casual.
Yeah, you do need a break sometimes.
Right, well, these characters need a fucking break. It's just been one disaster after another. They need just a chance to just hang out and vibe for a little bit.
They've been going non-stop since Eggman returned, basically.
They need a drink or something.
Honestly, I kind of like the momentum that we've got going here.
Well, it is nice to have the momentum. It's just like
things are moving. They just need to be paced a little differently.
I would just appreciate maybe an occasional like, oh, let's give the characters a little like, just like, even if it's just a story in an issue where they do something important.
Well, if it is any consolation, next time on Deep Dive Zone, we are going to have 4 more issues of the normal comic and 1 more final Sonic Super Special. So we're finally going to be done with those.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
But for right now, for tonight, we are done. Thank you all so much for enduring this with us. Thank you all so much for watching, I should say. If you like this video, please feel free to share, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, criticism, or feedback, you can find us at any of the links in the description, which are all in the link tree. It's one link. It's not that hard to find. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great night, and take care.